The man had been diagnosed with severe infertility. He supposedly had zero chance of getting any woman pregnant. But what happened next somehow made a woman swimming in the pool end up pregnant. Earlier he had thrown a test tube filled with his sperm into the pool out of anger. He assumed their paths would never cross again. But 1 month later the woman learned she was pregnant. To her the news felt absolutely impossible. She insisted she had never even touched a man, so she could not figure out how pregnancy was possible. The doctor said it was hard to explain, but claimed that under extremely rare circumstances, some unusual kind of exposure could result in a nearly impossible pregnancy. 6 years passed. The tiny life from back then had grown into a cute boy named Xiao Rui. One day the woman took her son to the hospital. After settling him down she rushed off to pick up a report. Meanwhile the man had been living under the shadow of having no children for 6 years. The old master's health grew worse day by day. He missed having a grandchild so much that it had become an illness. He clasped his hands together and prayed into the air, saying he would rather become a beast in his next life than stay childless. Right as his emotions surged, the beads in his hands snapped, scattering all over the floor. And in that moment a crisp young voice spoke up. Little Xiao Rui had appeared without anyone noticing. He looked at the beads on the ground, saying the adults dropped their stuff and still expected kids to pick it up. The old master stared at him, thinking he looked just like the man when he was young. His emotions spiked even more. The legs that had been paralyzed for years suddenly gathered strength, and he shot up from the wheelchair. The shocking scene left everyone frozen. The old master could not hold back anymore. He rushed forward and hugged the boy tightly, his voice trembling as he insisted the boy was his grandson. The butler looked helpless. He thought this was already the 6th grandson the old master imagined this year. The man told him to stop, saying he would scare the boy. So he left his contact information, saying the kid could reach out if anything happened. And he secretly collected the child's sample. As soon as the boy left, he ordered a private family DNA test. When the results came back, the truth was revealed. The boy was indeed his biological grandson. The old master was so thrilled. He stood up from his wheelchair once again, shouting that he finally had a grandson. The great news swept away years of gloom. He looked 20 years younger. Even his paralyzed legs seemed healed. A medical miracle. But just as he urged the butler to bring his grandson back, his old illness flared up and he was rushed to the hospital again. At the same time, the child's mother came from a struggling family. Her father hid his cancer diagnosis to avoid burdening her. He worked as a cleaner in the rain, trying to save money for his daughter and grandson. When the woman learned the truth, she tried to pull her father to the hospital, but the old man collapsed from the illness. Two families with completely different fates crossed paths again in the hospital. In another room, the old master woke up murmuring about his grandson, saying that was his boy. But the dramatic moment soon passed. In the ward he urged his son to bring the child back, but the man only humored him, thinking his father had lost his mind again. He believed his infertility was final, so he was sure he could not have a child. But to comfort his father, he ordered a symbolic public notice offering 50 million for information. In a small shabby hospital room, little Xiao Rui carefully cared for his unconscious grandfather. He whispered about the medical bills, saying he and mom would find a way. The grandfather saw the boy's rough hands and knew he had been moving bricks at construction sites again. He told him he was still growing and should not be doing such heavy work. The bond between the two was deeply tight.